Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're peeling back the layers of a 1960s track that accidentally became the ultimate soundtrack for an entire generation. We're going to explore the incredible history, that visceral studio magic, and the massive cultural impact behind Martha and the Vandellas' legendary hit. Let's dive right into the anatomy of an absolute anthem.
Okay, let's dive into this. The legendary music critic Dave Marsh once paid this track a truly massive compliment. He called it as pure a product of its day as anything Dylan or the Beatles ever imagined. No pressure, right? He was talking, of course, about Dancing in the Street. Today, we're unpacking the undeniable cultural footprint and the really high stakes of this incredible piece of music.
Section 1. The ultimate Motown anthem, the song that defined a generation. Released in July of 1964, this absolute million-seller transcended its pop origins to become a folkloric call to action around the world.
Which brings us to Section 2. From Secretary to Star, the unlikely rise of Martha Reeves.
To really understand the song, we've got to look at the front stage origin story, starting with the frontwoman herself. It's an absolutely fascinating, serendipitous journey. It all unfolds in 1962. Martha Reeves wins a talent contest at Detroit's famous 20 Grand nightclub. Motown's A&R chief, Mickey Stevenson, tells her to swing by for an audition. So she shows up the very next morning. When she's told she needs an appointment, she just refuses to leave. She actually starts answering the phones and essentially appoints herself as his secretary. You really can't make this stuff up. Not long after, the solo star, Mary Wells, misses a recording session. Martha steps in, backed by her friends, absolutely nails the vocal, and boom! She signs a record deal as Martha and the Vandellas. Talk about seizing the moment.
And the group's name? Well, it's a wonderfully playful piece of local history. Vandellas is this hybrid word. It combines Van Dyke Street, which was a prominent road in Detroit near Martha's home, with the first name of one of her absolute favorite singers, Della Reese. So the name itself was deeply rooted in Detroit geography and served as a really beautiful musical homage.
And this brilliantly illustrates the internal dynamics and rivalry at Motown at the time. On one side, you had Martha and the Vandellas. Martha's voice was earthy. It was direct, packed with this righteous gospel fervor and a flinty, unyielding R&B edge. Now, on the other side, you had Diana Ross and the Supremes, who were positioned as a bit more sultry, more demure, and were often favored for resources. Both groups were incredibly talented, obviously, but Martha's group really stood out as the tougher, more grounded counterpart to the polished pop soul of their Motown rivals.
This polished, glamorous image was cemented for the nation on December 5, 1965, when Martha and the Vandellas appeared on The Ed Sullivan Show. They wore these matching yellow cocktail dresses and delivered a completely captivating performance. But here's the thing. This immense national glamour and perfectly synchronized choreography actually masked the gritty, sweat-soaked reality of how their hit records were really made behind closed doors.
Let's move to Section 3 and see how this builds. Motown's secret studio weapon. We're going down into the snake pit with the Funk Brothers. See, because of the thick cables hanging everywhere from the ceiling down in Motown's basement studio, the musicians affectionately called it the Snake Pit.
Meet the Funk Brothers. You've got absolute legends like James Jamerson on bass, Jack Ashford on tambourine and vibes, Benny Benjamin on drums, and Earl Van Dyke on keyboards. Now, you might be wondering why you don't hear about them as often. Well, for years, they were completely uncredited on the albums. Yet this powerhouse collective of studio musicians collectively improvised, arranged, and orchestrated the very heartbeat of the signature Motown sound.
To put their impact into perspective, look at this number. It's a staggering statistic. Some combination of the Funk Brothers played on over 100 U.S. R&B #1 singles. That is absolutely wild. It really showcases an unparalleled industry dominance. They weren't just playing on tracks, they were literally the engine driving an entire era of American music.
Section 4. Crafting the Perfect Groove, or the collaborative groovology of Dancing in the Street. Now we shift our focus to the actual musical construction of the anthem, which was authored by Marvin Gaye, Mickey Stevenson, and Ivy Jo Hunter.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the sheer physical toll of the recording process. It was visceral, it was unconventional. To emphasize the heavy backbeat of the song, co-writer Ivy Jo Hunter literally hit heavy tire chains against a piece of wood. I mean, his hands were actively bleeding by the time they finished the take. The whole thing was this improvisationary, collective arranging process down in the snake pit. They didn't just rigidly read notes off a page. It was all about micro-timing, finding that specific infectious human groove, and everybody bouncing ideas off each other in real time.
As Martha Reeves herself said of those tire chains, that's what I call creative energy to get the sound that you want. I think that perfectly captures how this whole approach completely defied traditional musical hierarchies. The final product wasn't dictated from the top down. No, it was a true amalgamation. The performer, the composer, the producer, and the session musicians were all just working together as one unified, incredibly creative organism.
Section 5. More than just music. An accidental civil rights anthem. Let's zoom back out to the macro level to see how this perfect storm of collaborative sound resonated out there in 1964 America.
When this track hit the airwaves, the lyrics began, "Summer's here and the time is right." And with Martha Reeves' insistent alto cutting straight through those funky rhythms and punchy horns, the song almost instantly delivered a message that went way, way beyond its origins as a simple dance party tune. It rapidly morphed into a profound call for youthful solidarity across the country.
The Library of Congress essay beautifully notes, there truly was a time when dancing in the street truly did mean more than just moving to the music. Looking at this strictly as a product of its era, we see that the song was released right alongside some massive societal and civil shifts in America. People were taking to the streets for a variety of reasons during the civil rights movement, and this track inadvertently provided the soundtrack. It was a unique moment in history where a catchy pop song could naturally evolve to resonate as a powerful, folkloric anthem for an entire generation.
So the crucial point is that Dancing in the Street was the ultimate synthesis of raw talent, spontaneous studio invention, and absolutely perfect cultural timing. Which leaves us with this final question to ponder. In an era of digital perfection and highly isolated recording sessions, have we lost the raw, collaborative magic that birthed Dancing in the Street? Think about that the next time you listen to your favorite playlist. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and keep your curiosity alive.